Late evolution levels for Pokemon make them pointless for playthroughs. What's going on, everyone? My name is Daniel, and I saw this image here. I think it was on like 4chan or something about these Pokemon that evolve late. And it kind of like, I looked at this and I was like, this is so dumb. So I made a tweet about this, about all these Pokemon that have late evolutions. I'm like, these Pokemon with late evolutions, it ruins the evolution line completely. And I had some nice discussion in the replies to this tweet and stuff, and people had different opinions. People were like, oh, I like this because Pokemon that don't evolve until late really makes you feel like it's worth trying to get those evolutions, and it's nice to not have them all immediately fully evolved and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I want to have like a bit of a closer look into this. So I have the list on Bulbapedia of the Pokemon that evolve at a certain level. Now, late evolutions just isn't based on level. It can be based on the item that you need to evolve them, not getting them into late game. It can be based on the area that you need to evolve them at. Like, for example, another bad example is Crabrawler into Crabrawler in Sun and Moon. You get Crabrawler right at the start of the game and you can't evolve it into literally the route before the Elite Four. What is the point in using a Crabrawler? But let's get into this. So, based on levels, we're gonna start around level 30 and kind of work our way down, go through this list and kind of dictate to ourselves, is it worth using these Pokemon? Are these evolution levels too ridiculous? And you guys can let me know what your opinions are in the comment section below as well. So, starting at around we'll start around level 30. So we have Mudbray around level 30. We have Wimpod, which it can be kind of annoying to train up a Wimpod to level 30. I'm not gonna lie with that. And we have our starters. So around the level 30 point in the game, which we'll say on average as like the 5th, 6th gym, around the 5th, 6th gym is when you start to get your final evolutions. Is when you start to really fill out your team. That's when you want to be filling out your team. That's when you want to be completing your team. And based on some of the levels of the Pokemon, they're completely useless to use. So we'll use that as the base. Around the 5th, 6th gym is when you want to be finishing up your team, finishing up creating your team. So let's have a look right here. So we get Swablu to level 35. Can be annoying to train up a Swablu, but it's not so bad. Jangmo, we have a lot of basic Pokemon kind of evolving for the first time at level 35, which is a little bit annoying, but it's not too terrible. And we have our starters going into their final evolution around level 36, which I think is perfectly fine. I am completely okay with that. That's fine. We have a lot of other Pokemon that evolve around mid-30s into their final evolutions, and that is kind of like the baseline of what we're doing here. So we have a Scraggy, level 39. It's a little bit late for Scraggy to evolve, in my opinion, considering you get Scraggy pretty early on in the game. It's a little bit late for Fungus to evolve at level 39. I think like early 30s would have worked better for them. But again, it's not a big deal. This, however, this is nonsense right here. Tynamo. Let's have a look at Tynamo. Evolves for the first time at level 39. What's your base stats, Tynamo? 275 base stats, Tynamo. Tynamo. What are you doing? Where exactly does it have the evolution levels here? So, a level 39 evolves for the first time. Absolutely ridiculous, but it does have a stone evolution. So once you hit level 39, you can evolve into this thing and evolve into this thing. So it's only really annoying for a long time because it's Tynamo. But I'm pretty sure you find Tynamos in the wild at around the 30s level, so it's only annoying for a little bit, so it's really not a huge deal. We have Tyrant here. We have some of the fossils coming in with late evolutions. Ponyta, I would say Ponyta could do with having a reduction in the evolution levels just a bit here. Again, a lot of fossils around this area. We have a lot of final evolutions coming up here. More fossils, more fossils, more fossils. We have Krokorok going into Krookodile level 40. That's perfectly fine because Krokorok is at least usable up until level 40, I would say. For the most part, it's a decent Pokemon that you could actually use on its own. Goomy evolving level 40. Now, usually Dragon types do evolve pretty late. Goomy evolving at level 40 is kind of annoying because it's a useless Pokemon without its evolution. So you can't use it in its own right. You have to kind of use other Pokemon to train it up. We see some Psychic types come into their final evolution here. Litwick is another annoying one. Litwick is another dumb one, but it's another one that evolves by Stone into its final evolution. This is kind of annoying with the way that this works, but I understand kind of why they did it with the Stone evolution here. So we have Litwick evolving into Lampent at level 41, but Litwick's stats are, let's have a look here, complete trash. So until level 41, you're using a Pokemon that cannot battle for itself And then once you hit the Lampent stage, you're pretty much just gonna be like, okay, I'll just evolve it again, like right away. There's no point. What's the point in using a Lampent? By the time you hit level 41 on Litwick, you're probably gonna have a Duskstone. There's no reason not to just evolve it unless you're maybe going for a certain move. And that's really the only reason you'd ever use a Lampent. I feel like there's definitely a way they could have designed that better, where you actually have a Pokemon that can stand on its own, it can battle for itself, and then once you get the moves that you need, for a while, because you've been using a Lampent for a while, because let's say we change the Litwick evolution to like level 30, level 32, something like that. Bring it down quite a bit. You actually use a Lampent for a while, you accumulate those moves, and then you evolve it into a Chandelure. That'd be probably, in my opinion, a better way of doing that. And then we have some of these idiots like Elegim, level 42. It seems that 5th gen is really, really bad for this, I think. Not to like just straight up shit on 5th gen, but 5th gen is really bad for this whole evolving late thing, and that's where the image came from originally, was just 5th gen Pokemon. But Elegim evolving at level 42, that's kind of dumb. Sandygast is evolving at level 42. Again, like level 40s, high 30s, Sandygast can't really do much for itself, generally. Now, Cosmog is just an entire troll. Cosmog is Magikarp on steroids, because it evolves at level 43 for the first time. I understand that it's a legendary. Don't yell at me for that. Evolves at level 43 for the first time into a Pokemon that is also useless. So you don't even get the satisfaction of being like, okay, I trained Cosmog up to level 43, it can evolve now, it can be decent, because it's not even decent. It's not even decent when it evolves. So it's Cosmog is a completely pointless Pokemon. I'm just gonna say that right now. But level 43 Cosmog, that's kind of dumb. Misclicked on that right there. Okay, so we have Steelio, level 44. It's not bad. You can kind of use a Steelio up until that point. Vibrava coming in as one of the first dragon types to hit its final evolution stage, level 45. That's a pretty good point for a dragon type to hit its final evolution stage, because you kind of do have that little bit of a struggle with Vibrava towards the level 40s. So that's fine with me. Matang, another pseudo-legendary coming into its final stage, mid-40s. That's okay, because once you do hit the mid-40s, you're struggling with the Matang just a bit. You're struggling with the Hakamoto just a bit. Vanillish hits level 4. It waits until level 47 to evolve. Let me bring up this image again. Hold on, let me bring up this image again. So look at this right here. Vanilla is level 35 to evolve into something that's also trash. I mean, this isn't too bad for mid-30s, but level 47, high 40s until you get the final evolution line here? Not fantastic. Not a great look for Vanillish. Gabite, level 48. I'm okay with this. That's a fine level for it to hit its final evolution. I think with that, by the time you hit high 40s, you're kind of struggling with the Gabite, maybe just a little bit. Fracture, again, same situation. Not a huge deal with that. Skrelp is a trash Pokemon, and you shouldn't have to wait until level 48 to get a Dragality. I think Skrelp's evolution level, bring it down to maybe like like 38, 40, around there. That's probably a good level, because then you're still struggling with Skrelp. It's still a trash Pokemon. But at least it's not this huge grind with it until level 48. Noibat, again, trash Pokemon, level 48. It evolves into its final stage. That's fine. So once we're around level 48, where is level 48 in the game? Level 48 is around the 7th gym. I'd say on average, level 48 is around 7th gym, unless you're playing Generation 2, in which case you're beating the champion now, which is Pokemon games have a really weird progression in terms of that. But I'd say around 7th gym, just after 7th gym, you're around level 48. And then we have Clang, level 49. Another Pokemon on this image here. You have a Klink until level 38. What are you doing with a Klink at mid-30s? You're doing absolutely nothing. You're switch training that boy. You're not doing anything else with it. You're switch training it. And you have to wait until level 49 to get your Klinklang. Now, once we hit level 49, we're nearing the end of the game, which I suppose for it to hit a final evolution around here is like the very ends of where I'd say it's acceptable to do that, right? With a Shelgon at level 50, that pretty much brings us to around the 8th gym area. Level 50s are around the 8th gym area. Mienfoo is a level 50 evolution. That is ridiculous. Absolutely not should you be using a Pokemon with, what's the stats here? 350 base stats. High 40s? What? That's ridiculous. There's no reason to ever grind up a Mienfoo that high unless you really wanted to use a Mienfoo or a Mienshao. That's just a ridiculously high evolution level. I'd say bring that down like 10 levels. Bring it down like 10 levels. That's more like it. But still, even level 40 is kind of high for this. Generation 5 is really bad for this whole thing. Like, you can have a Salamence, or you can still have like a Mienfoo. Dino, another terrible example for this. Dino doesn't evolve for the first time until level 50. Now, Dino, we already know that legendary or dragon types are hard to train up in general, and this thing has 300 base stats. Imagine trying to use this in high 40s areas against fully evolved Pokemon. You have to switch train this. You have to use the experience share. You have to use the day kit. You have to use other methods of grinding it up, or you're just not gonna be able to do anything with it. And then congratulations, you got the second evolution in the last gym. Like, you just got it. Congratulations. How much are you gonna be able to play with this? There is essentially no reason to ever start. So this is the scenario I had with this. If I was to go and restart a game and import or trade over or send over the eggs for a bunch of these Pokemon, there's no reason to ever think about using Dino, because the entirety of the game, it will not evolve and it will be weak. That's kind of sad, because I used to do that all the time with 5th generation Pokemon, with 4th generation Pokemon games. I would trade over eggs and I would have a team that I'd start from the get-go, and I'd use that team for the entire playthrough. And there's no reason to ever include Mienfoo. There's no reason to ever include Dino, Pawniard, Rufflet, Vullaby in any of this, because they're never ever going to evolve. Like, congratulations, level 64 for Zweilous. Why? That's after champion. You're not gonna get the fully evolved Pokemon until after you've beaten the game. And how, like, what? This is ridiculous. I'm just getting annoyed by this as I go on. Rufflet and Vullaby, again, really bad examples of this thing happening, where there's no reason to ever use a Rufflet or a Vullaby. There's much better options for your flying type, because by the time it evolves into its final stage, you've beaten the game. Or you're just about to, like, you use its final stage for what, 1, 2, maybe 3 battles in the Elite Four if you're lucky. And then what, that's it. Like, how can you plan out a team from the get-go and be like, I want to use a Vullaby, but then you don't actually get to use a Vullaby? Because by the time you've got yourself your Braviary, the game's over. So you didn't actually get to use a Braviary, you just thought you were gonna use one and then didn't for the entire game because you couldn't evolve your Rufflet. Now granted, they did include static areas in which you can go and catch the fully evolved Pokemon, because I guess they thought in their heads, oh shit, we messed up on these levels. I guess we should include an area in which they can go and get these Pokemon early on. That doesn't really solve the situation though, because you have to either use that static encounter or you don't use the Pokemon ever. And then you have a Cosmoem for 10 levels. It's just, why Cosmoem from 10 levels exactly? Let's have a look and see what Cosmoem does. What does Cosmoem do? Nothing. It just sits there and it splashes, and it does nothing. It does absolutely nothing. At least make Cosmoem do something. Like, you just have to have it in your party with the experience you're on for like 10 levels, and it's just kind of, I don't feel any kind of accomplishment for just having it in my party with the experience you're on for 10 levels until you evolve it, because this Pokemon can't do anything. And then one of the worst offenders for this, in fact, the worst offender for this, Larvesta. This just makes me angry because Volcarona is such a cool, good Pokemon. Larvesta ruins Volcarona. Larvesta completely ruins Volcarona. You cannot use Larvesta in any playthrough that you ever want to do, because it will never evolve until you've beaten the champion. Look at these stats, 360 stats. You want to use a Pokemon with 360 stats until you've beaten the game? Oh wait, you don't even get to use your Volcarona because you already beat the game. Whoops. Upsetting. Like I said, they do have that encounter for the Volcarona. I think it's around the 5th gym at level 30. And that's nice because they realized that, hey, we messed up on this. Oops. Hey, we got to include an encounter, and that's the only way you can ever use a Volcarona is through that encounter, or you're just not going to use it, which is incredibly unfortunate. Like I said, I understand that you get these encounters. I understand like there needs to be some late evolutions. Maybe the problem here isn't the evolution levels. Maybe the problem is the level scaling in Pokemon games. Maybe we need to have a higher Elite Four levels. Maybe we need to have more going on and higher levels before you reach the end of the game. In Generation 2, the champion is level 50. But the real champion, Red, is level 81. In Generation, I guess 4, the champion is level like 60, around 66, which is a little bit better for that, but there is quite a big level jump when it comes to that anyway. Like, I think the Pokemon series just needs to adjust their leveling better and kind of adjust their scaling and really work on this if they're gonna leave the levels so late here. So ridiculously late, or they need to adjust these levels. Like, they need to change these because there's no reason to use a Scralp otherwise. There's like, I understand that a lot of these Pokemon you don't get until late game, and you can't capture until late game. I completely understand that. It would be really weird if you're like, oh, I caught this Pokemon late game and it instantly evolved. So here's something you could do is you could just change up the way that the routes work. Because the routes in Pokemon, a lot of them are super duper boring. A lot of them just have Yungooses and Pelippas. Just look at Sun and Moon's route list. It's so boring. You could mix in a lot of really cool Pokemon in there and have them actually be usable in game if you were to drop down the levels just a bit. And you could have a lot more options and a lot more variety for the players to use. Or you could just lock them away behind ridiculous level evolutions and places that you can only get late game. That's also true as well. But let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. It's like having a little bit of a mini rant about some of the evolution levels making Pokemon kind of useless in the comments section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have not subscribed already, be sure to subscribe. I'm good at outros. See you guys next time.